ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday stream. This is the first game of the day, and will be game number 1 in a best-of-5 series between... do you want to say it, Jerem? I'm going to let you go with that.
Yeah, Knuschelbär and Goodspeed.
Yes, and Goodspeed, aka Mart, which we might end up calling him because we know him by his first name. Goodspeed, been around for an enormously long time, has written quite a number of guides on all of the different patches that there have been throughout his time as well. I think he's that kind of guy. I think he just likes to write down what he thinks is optimal and what he thinks is the best, and definitely one of the stronger players on ESO currently, and what he says is usually, well, at least I took it as truth back in the day when I was playing a lot. I really enjoyed his guys. Maybe we'll see another one from him one day, but here he is in the north of the map in the color green, playing as indeed Japan. And just before we started, Jerem, I suppose I ought to introduce you. Obviously, I did already do that, but since MC Jim might have cut that bit out for the YouTube video, Jerem, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great even.
Yeah, and you're part of the media team.
I'm pretty excited for these games.
Yeah, you've been upgraded today. Currently, the great Bramboni is suffering from a fever, so you've had to do all of the scheduling. I think you've done a good job. We've got all the scheduling down. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm way too chaotic to do scheduling stuff. Like, what the hell's going on? How does Bram do this every time?
So by the sounds of it, struggling with Bram's job. But yeah, just a big shout out to all the media guys who get all of this kind of stuff done, scheduling the players, finding casters, asking casters, editing the videos. That's MC Jim's job. I talk about him a lot. But yes, casting with, of course, one of the Dutchies. They're all Dutch, the media team. But Jerem, thanks for joining me today. But yes, Goodspeed, also Dutch actually, not playing as Dutch, playing as Japan. Nothing unusual here, by the looks of it, going to be doing ordinary Japan things, building that consulate now, and of course going to be allying with the Portuguese there to get the cheaper buildings and all of those good things, as we know the stack with the Hemberley Cami, etc., etc. But the British in the south of the map, in the colour blue, and we were talking also about, when this game begun, this matchup. And how Mart might have something prepared, he might not have something prepared, but he's convinced that this is a good matchup, whereas I was always under the impression that British had the edge in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think British does have the edge here. I think I saw a while ago Knuschelbär play versus Heza.
Yeah.
And he went like trio in this matchup or something, so I think he's feeling confident about it.
As in the blue player.
The blue player, yeah.
Yes.
I think you could just call him Bear or something. That makes sense.
That's good. I'll call him Bear. But we do have not a treasure contention, but a little bit of an interaction here. That Duba the monkey, or Freitag the monkey, looks like he's not going to be lasting too long. Divine Strike does come out there and end up pulling him off. Is kind of guarding the 85 wood, but 2 monks should be enough to fight a European explorer.
I think actually the European explorer wins it, so...
Yeah,
he's gonna get out of there.
He's gonna poof away. And if that is the case, then that 85 wood treasure that he's put a shrine next to, well, he put the shrine because of the hunt, obviously, but he can see that. He's not gonna be able to get that now. Do you think British has seen it?
I doubt it. I think he might have just missed it, but
yeah, I think he came across the explorer there. He might not necessarily. He might go that way just because he wants scouting information that way. But he is about to come across it, and now Japan not going to be getting that. Yeah, he's going to go straight for it. I mean, he can see the tiger moving, presumably because of the shrine that he put down.
I think Goodspeed's going to try to contest
it. Yeah, he's going back for it. Sadly for blue player, he did as the tiger was running away, he meant to shoot it, but by the looks of it, did not manage to do that, and he does not have his crack shot available. So if he's going to fight this treasure guardian, he is, not going to be. He's going to give his opponent plenty of time to get there. This is a big deal. This treasure, both civilizations really hugely benefit from it, because they both want to build the housing stuff. Yeah.
I think Knuschelbär's trying to wait for the second crack shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's guarding it, but not doing anything at all now.
Yeah. Do you think... Well, here comes I thought that goat was the second explorer when I looked at it on the minimap, but that's not the case. Where's Goodspeed going? Do you think he ought to be hanging around the 85 wood treasure?
I don't know, actually. Seems he's building a second shrine with this other explorer, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd be doing. Perhaps, though, he is a bit afraid of the superior strength of the European explorer. But too late now. He's going to crack shot it. and grab that. And of course, British are going to be very, very happy with that. Of course, going to be able to lay down a manor and get that extra villager out a bit easier. And of course, that wood could be useful for the market that he is building now as well. Hunting dog, steel trap's going to be coming in. But both players are aging up to the next stage, and both players, as you can see, have transitioned villagers over to wood. Just enough left on the berries, obviously, to maintain villager production for Japan. British doesn't obviously do that. We know they can't build villages during transition. But, yeah, both players going for wood. And maybe we should talk about this matchup a bit in terms of why we think it's British favoured. Because, you know, both civs kind of similar in the sense that they build houses to get an economic advantage. But why would British be stronger than Japan?
Yeah, I think the case that people made was that British just has more stuff at every point in the game.
Yeah.
Which is a good reason to be favored in a matchup. But I think they can, like, they can boom but still be aggressive.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, that's what he's going to be doing here. You know, outpost is coming forward, going to be laid down next to this forward Rex, which is going on the center map to secure some hunts and gold mines and just access points. It is Kamchatka after all. Barracks has gone down.
Yeah, and he's probably gonna start longbows or pikes. Given that there's no villagers on coin, so...
And 700 wood does come out as well. I've put units in queue. He has got one pikeman in queue, which I really like. He's going to start with the pikeman, and of course, and then use those to run around, perhaps siege some shrines whilst he waits for some supporting longbowmen to be trained. And also, as we know, longbowmen can be a bit vulnerable, whereas pikes don't suffer from that. They can't be chased down by cav quite as easily, given that they counter cav. But perhaps not the point, really. It's the more interesting thing is that those pikes will be useful for sieging down the shrines.
Yeah, he will just try to siege some shrines.
Here they
Looks
come.
like Goodspeed's going really greedy. There's no Rex yet.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about it? Why is he going greedy?
Well, I think he doesn't expect to rush from British. He's throwing down just now. Yeah, he's doing the late double Rex, where you wait with Rexes until the 700 wood shipment.
Yeah, you get the wood
He's
off.
gotten a lot of shrines on the map out.
Yeah, so currently at 150 shrine pops, so and has managed to achieve that as a result of neglecting the two barracks that he was intending to build, and built all of the shrines first, and then waited as long as possible, and then that last 200 wood out of this 600 wood shipment were these two barracks, or the last 400 wood, I should say. So gonna get those up super late, and as a result has given British time to get 5 pikes out, and then another batch of units from both these barracks. So, you know, actually 3 batches of units are going to be out before Japan can really do anything, I would say.
Yeah, and he's doing a 700 gold shipment now. That's pretty interesting.
What do you think he's gonna... Is this... every villager is tasked to food at the moment, and possibly the shrines...
Are on food too.
Yeah, shrines are on food as well. So does that indicate, do you think, Jerem, that he wants to go up to the Fortress Age?
I don't know, maybe just some timing with a lot of musketeers.
Yeah.
He actually didn't get any coins, so he wouldn't have enough to age, I think. But probably just gonna spam some... maybe 20 or so Ashigarus.
Okay, so he's gonna use the basically just more efficient food gathering, and then get the gold, which is, you know, better to get it from crates, and he's just gonna transform that into units. Is this perhaps the build you mentioned? You wondered if Goodspeed had a build ready. Maybe this is it. Maybe he's been experimenting. Maybe he's come up with something that he thinks is quite efficient versus British here.
Yeah, this is not really a common build. Usually you go for villagers or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it works. I honestly haven't seen this kind of build before.
Yeah, well, the Ashigarus have come out now. Chests of 600 coins. So just going to continue doing what he's been doing already. He's just going to continue to gather mostly food. There are some villages on gold, and then send 600 gold and continue training musketeers by the looks of it. Perhaps he could go up there as an option there as well, but I anticipate him to continue more Ashigaru. Where are they heading? I mean, they're quite fast-moving units. He's not making any attempt to defend the shrines sort of in the middle of the map. Maybe that location is lost to him, but where are these musketeers going? Are they looking for villagers to kill?
I think he's just, trying to find some villagers.
He's going to miss this one, sadly.
Yeah, barely. I think it's hard to see on the minimap that animal's dead.
Yeah, and it's just an awkward place to be, like really close to the river. You wouldn't normally go past that. But yeah, looks like Bear has been pulled back as a result of the Green Musketeers being in this location, and as a direct result of that is no longer sieging shrines. So Goodspeed is achieving something by being here. And it's quite hard to catch these musketeers out since they move faster than ordinary musketeers. Having said that, though, 4 cavalry possibly going to intercept.
Oh, that might be some dead Ashigaros. Goodspeed is aging behind this.
Yeah.
So the second 700 or 600 gold was put into.
Okay, so it's going to engage by the looks of it, goes into hand combat, trying to deflect these cavalry, and Bear doing a good job. He did not take any hand damage from those Ashigara, which of course he has huge multipliers against. And the Cav doing their job here, snaring these musketeers so they can't escape quite as quickly, and that of course means the blue ones can catch up and get in range damage. These musketeers were unable to kill any of the hussars, and they obviously don't want to stay there because huge blue army. And really, really nice from Bear. He manages to catch the green units. Goodspeed perhaps arguably a little bit out of position, and I think Bear here showing us that a few cavalry can be really, really useful, even though they don't directly counter the sort of musketeer style unit.
Yeah, and I wonder if Bear has any idea about like the age up.
Yeah.
Because you would kinda expect some Ashigaros to save those or something if Goodspeed had more than none.
I wonder why. What do you make of this then? His build order, training those Ashigarans and then going up to the next stage behind it. Do you think he was trying to just get some raiding pressure down with those first batch and just maybe do something useful, maybe kind of as we saw, force the blue player away from his shrine, stop street sieging them a bit? Just what was the point in training musketeers?
I think that was basically the plan, to just raid a little bit, maybe defend versus rush.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's go time for Knuschelbär.
Yeah, it looks like it, and this is a really good time to go, given that he's just hit up to the next stage. That is his opponent, and as a result of that, will not have as many units. He spent them all on aging, and also he lost a bunch of Ashigari musketeers as well. So here, Bear is definitely decisively ahead. I imagine we're going to see the Minutemen come out, the sentries, that is, for the Japanese player. But yeah, there they are, trying to kill off those cavalry. But sadly, they've been in a good position on top of those crossbowmen.
Yeah, just now the Ashigaros get the veteran upgrade after most of them died.
Yeah, and imagine if he had those ones from earlier and was perhaps able to not have to take this fight so soon, then he'd have tons of upgraded units. But by the looks of it, Japan is just overwhelmed here. Here comes some Unimi. Imagine if maybe I can see how this would have deflected blue.
Yeah, if the Ashigaros had just lived.
Yeah, if the Ashigaros had lived, he'd have a tiny bit longer to get the veterancy in, or the honoured, whatever, not honoured, you know what I mean, the upgrade. And also these Yumi Archer shipment. If all of those things had, had a tiny bit more time for that, and the units had lived, this could have been really, really strong.
Yeah, it looks like he's just barely not gonna stabilize. So Scissors coming in, and just the longbows are pretty good against Yumi Archers.
Yeah.
One of the few units that can deal with them.
Cavalry also good against Yumi Archers, and here's some more blue cavalry coming in. Yeah.
At this point, I don't know if Japan can stabilize. You probably won't be getting a lot of units out anymore.
No, and if we take a look at the so if we recalculate this, it's still very, very favoured in British. 46 villages compared to 39, and most of those units aren't working.
Nice Ashigara pop.
Yeah, Shigari Pop is good, but gonna get those cavalry back. Do you think this is enough? We do, however, see another 10 blue musks, or something like that, maybe 8, sort of approaching.
Yeah, the British eco is great behind this.
Yeah, he's in a very, very good spot, but that's not a very interesting thing to say. I think everyone can see that, but oh, come on, Japan, what does he need to do here? There's no more. I mean, he can continue to send the shipments. He does have one available now, and there has just been sent. I anticipate that we'll see the second Ashigari shipment.
Yeah, maybe with another shipment, he can kind of hold.
And maybe with a batch of units as well, but he hasn't been gathering, so it'll be difficult to get. Like, he has 150 food currently, and that's only going up as a result of his shrines.
Looks like he might be shipping Yumi Archers, because he's focusing the Hussars. If he can clean up the Hussars and get a nice Yumi shipment,
yeah, that's true.
He might clean this up.
Yeah, and at the moment,
it's not, if you look at the scores, like, the difference is not that huge. It's been kind of stable at like a 30 points difference.
He's been trying to, yeah, okay, so more Ashigaris coming out there, not Yumi in the end. I can see why Yumi would be good here. In fact, Yumi would be very, very good here.
They would have died to these 4 Hussars. So.
Yeah. Perhaps that's what he was anticipating, he knows the Ashigari Musketeer, just the more, two more coming out of the barracks. He didn't miss his batch, he just didn't have enough resources to create any more than that. But yes, the Musketeer style unit is definitely the more durable. You don't have to babysit it quite as much. I
think he's pretty close to stabilizing, actually. It's just a few longbowmen in the back that are dealing out a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to deal with. Unless he wants to ship Nagy or something, which he doesn't have in his deck.
And of course, the town center fire, it's like he's not gathering that much, but town center fire in itself is kind of cost efficient.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to
just
hold off for
stabilized
now.
until 10 more musks arrive. Just sustained pressure coming out of British every single time some units are created, brings them in here, is unrelenting and keeping all of these villages belled up. So whilst he is losing a lot of units, to the town center fire that you mentioned, he is stopping unit production, and he has his entire economy working away in the back here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Knuschelbär has been sieging down a lot of shrines,
He's gotten quite a lot of damage on that town center. Yeah, actually, I haven't even noticed that. Like, those pikemen he created earlier have been running around clearing up the shrine pop. That's absolutely
There's
true.
basically that shrine and then one in the bottom of the map, and the rest is all cleared up. I think at this point you can take the town center.
Yeah, and that's what he's been aiming for. It's nearly there. And I think he has and yeah, I can see here, all this time Goodspeed has been trying to get as much damage with these Ashes as he can, using their superior speed to perhaps try and take some shots at the blue musks and then
There's
run
the
away.
units, just too late.
Yeah,
I think the town center, you should focus it.
and that seems to be what he's doing as well. GG does come out from Goodspeed. Game number 1 does go to Knuschelbär. Almost. I'm surprised by that outcome, actually. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the blue player. Clearly a very competent British here, but like Goodspeed, I've always thought as being one of the stronger players in Age of Empires 3, and here today, losing that first game in what looks like it wasn't a particularly close one. British was on top of him the whole time and just had superior economy behind it.
Fight, maybe if those 10 Ashigaros had lived,
Yeah.
then it could have been a different outcome.
Absolutely true. But it does make me wonder why Goodspeed was so far away from home with a unit like that. I mean, obviously they are a bit faster than Musketeers, so maybe it does make more sense. But, did get caught out of position a bit far away from home, and had he been home, wouldn't have lost those units.
Yeah, but maybe you didn't expect the Hussars.
Yeah, 4 Hussars.
Yeah, it was quite the tech switch, because he started out double Rex and then...
Yeah, he double rack, started with pikemen and longbowmen, added in musketeers, and then cavalry as well. So yeah.
Yeah, but Knuschelbär is quite a great player. Like, he's been playing a lot of team games and doing really well in them. And I think lately he's been doing quite a few 1v1s. So
yeah, so just a good player all round. All right, well, this is going to be game number 2 we're about to get into. And as a result, apparently I keep saying as a result of a lot. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe it'll become the new absolutely. But Goodspeed here, picking his British against Knuschelbär's Portuguese. Portuguese has been the civ that he selected. Of course, he has to pick that first because he just won the previous game, and now Goodspeed gets to pick a civilization in response and has picked British. I think Goodspeed always been a big fan of British. What do you think of British versus Portuguese?
I think British wins it, but it's not terrible for the Portuguese player.
Yeah.
It's winnable on both sides.
So it's so what you're saying is it's close, I suppose, but maybe slightly British favoured if played optimally.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be British.
Yeah, I mean I've seen
interesting picks for this map because it's not particularly high hunt.
No, and there is that huge trading route. So maybe if British was a civ that you were good at, which I think Goodspeed absolutely is, then maybe you'd want to save it for a map that there were no trading posts on, and instead play something like France or another civilization. We've seen Ottoman grab all of these trading routes, and Portuguese is a civilization that might want to do that as well. Perhaps we will see advanced trading posts. We saw that from H2O on yesterday's stream, and I think H2O, I've seen him quite a few times actually, played Portuguese versus British and done very, very well on the Portuguese side. So I think this matchup definitely an interesting one, and I think. Actually, I really like this Portuguese and British. Like you never used to see it very much, but I do like. I've always liked Euro civs, and I think these two do result in a nice match.
They're kind of the new meta civs, I think. Both really strong at the moment.
Yeah.
I've been playing Portuguese quite a bit more, and it's a civ that can probably do well against almost all civs.
Yeah, that's good.
British is kind of the same, so.
Yep. But Goodspeed, here he is in the color green, plagues indeed the British in the north of the map, has laid down 2 manor houses with his starting, of course, wood. And, yep, no market here. We'll be getting that later on, I presume. Going to be going for 40 XP. What else has he found? Not a huge amount. But let's take a look at the blue player. He, however, has picked up an enormous number of these smaller treasures and is playing the Portuguese, as we mentioned, and has gone for the market start.
Yeah, if you like, this map has all these small beaver treasures, which at first sight it seems like there's not a lot of treasures, but you can easily just rack up to 200, 300 gold from just beaver treasures. It's actually insane. Like, you think, oh, I'm just getting a small beaver treasure, and then you look at your gold bank in H1 and you have 200 gold.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a number of them on
came
here.
from. Yeah.
And these treasures are very easy to pick up, especially the gold ones, which don't have any guardians. So you just walk up to it, pick it up, and in terms of the time spent collecting the treasure, given how much resources it gives, I think they are, like, actually not too bad at all. You know, like, they're maybe comparable to the bigger treasures that have guardians. Obviously, those ones are more desirable, but they are not on this map. And when there are so many of these small treasures, you just walk around, shift-clicking on them all. Yeah, what's with the treasures here, he says.
Yeah. But Knuschelbär has, like,
Nothing but
he's
XP.
gotten 120 coin, 80 XP, and 40 wood. That's like a lot.
Jerem, I see a interesting deviation. Certainly has picked up a lot of gold, but take a look at the shipments that have been sent. We do see a Virginia company coming out from Jerem here. That's definitely interesting, and has always been something I know Goodspeed's very fond of. He's always been the Goodspeed Virginia company build. I know Azamp has a build too, but I think they're very similar in terms of where they came from, and I think it might have been...
He's been saying that since forever, that Virginia company is amazing or something.
Or something.
I don't really see it yet, but I spoke to him before this match, like yesterday, and I was wondering how he felt about it. He said, well, I'm gonna win at least one game because Virginia company is OP.
Surprise! Well, if that's the case, why aren't more people using it, I suppose, is the question. But Goodspeed, an advocate for that for a very, very long time, and always been a player that I have a lot of respect for. But Portugal going with something a bit more standard, well, standard now, advanced trading post, and is going to be laying down the enormous route which does spawn on this map. The map is Klondike. Going to be starting with this here, and it makes sense for Portugal to do that since they do not have a 3-villager shipment or anything else that they might be missing out on. So
yeah,
ATP, really, really nice, yeah.
He's doing the Ryan thing, which is using a villager to build a trading post, which is like the main innovation in this build, that you use a villager so you can really quickly get like 3 trading posts up.
Yeah.
And aren't contested by the other guy.
Yep. Definitely.
Which it does take a villager ages to build a trading post, but
it does. I've always wondered why explorers are able to build things so much more faster than a villager. Yeah. It doesn't really make a huge amount of sense, but yeah, quite inefficient to use a villager to do this. But given that you do get it up sooner, and you do get that batch of XP when you research Stagecoach, and then obviously it's up sooner for Stagecoach to actually start taking effect as well. So you get lots of resources there. Probably worthwhile. And also, as you mentioned, you get to lay it down. You get that socket in queue, so your opponent can't randomly steal it as well. So lots of benefits there. And here comes the trading post. Let's take a look at what they're both doing. So, of course, British up to the next stage by the looks of it with 500 food. And Goodspeed continuing to just put every single villager on wood. He does have a market down, and he's researching Gangsaw now, but by the looks of it, is not taking any regard for barracks, not doing anything at all in terms of just laying down manors, and could conceivably here go for all 20 manors before he does anything. I wonder if that is...
I think he's gonna do that, just make manors only.
700 wood arriving as his first colonial age shipment. Now, the efficiency this represents, combined with Virginia Company, is just off the charts. This shipment is incredible now, and that 500 food he aged up with just using that to gain, just to be able to fund villager production. He has no one on food except 2 villagers now, and it will remain that way for quite a while, given how many villagers you can get out of 500 food. And how long 5 villages actually takes to train. But Portugal, on the other hand, 700 wood is his first shipment as well. Going to be using that by the looks of it to get the remaining market upgrades. Yeah, he does have hunting dogs, and I imagine steel traps will now start being researched, and of course the remaining trading posts as well. So both players investing in early economy. But the thing I'm interested in is this British one. Like, he has, if you take a look at the economic unit population, an enormous villager economy for 6 minutes, 40.
Yeah, but you have to realize trading posts are actually quite insane.
Yeah, they are. They are very, very
If
strong.
you put them on wood, it's like 4 villagers. So that's also it maximally represents a 20 villager economy, just a trading post line.
So that'd be
Which
36
is the same
vills.
as all 20 manors.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of scared for British. At the moment, it seems like British is doing well, but his civ bonus is basically done for because he already has gotten all manors.
Yeah, but
Portuguese will be booming out of 2 town centers.
he will be booming out of 2 town centers. But what we're forgetting is that British also has access to that 5 villager shipment that he has just now sent, and possibly the 4 villagers as well. Didn't make use of the 3 villagers actually early on, but yeah, it does kind of make me nervous, given that 2 town centers over time scales much better than 1. Obviously, perhaps the least
British
insightful thing I've said
basically done
today.
Scaling at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the booming is done, and Portuguese will be getting ahead eventually.
Yeah, and also the fact that these trading posts all have a 25 ranged attack is also quite scary, because, if he wants to push into that economy, he has to deal with these basically outposts, whereas, if the opposite, if the Portuguese were to push into the British economy, villagers don't have a 25 ranged attack.
Yeah, one of the, ATP is the wood reduction is pretty great, but it's not that insane. It's also that contesting the trading post line is gonna be really rough. Taking out the trading post is cost inefficient because it only costs 120 wood, and it's gonna kill a unit or 2.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're really, really cheap at this point, and they're like, it might even be worth building the native trading posts just for the ranged building, given how cheap they are now.
Yeah, that's not insane actually.
I wonder what's inside the Nuka settlement as well.
Yeah, I never know what the upgrades are.
Villager changes hit points by 50%. That's a pretty interesting one. Maybe that's worthwhile for British grabbing. He's got a lot of villagers, and if your opponent does push into you, just pulling the villagers into a fight. That's actually really... anyway, he doesn't have advanced trading posts, so that's not really something that he can do. But it's given that they do have a ranged attack and they are quite cheap, those upgrades might be certainly a lot more worthwhile now than they were before. But Portuguese player now up to the Fortress Age, off the back of the 700 food and gold shipments by the looks of it, and of course his trading post economy as well. 2 town centers going down in this location, securing the food in this area, and of course the trading route line even harder on top of the fact that they will have ranged attack. What is British really doing? He's gone for all 20 manors. He's at 200 at 200 population, and since then has obviously trained a bunch of longbowmen and pike, but really hasn't done any... What is his plan? What is he up to? Especially now that Portuguese is up to Fortress.
I don't actually know what his plan is. I think he has been thinking to just boom up and maybe outskill the Portuguese player, but he might be underestimating the trading post line.
Yeah.
Which is actually as a player, I always thought, trading post is about 1-2 villagers. That would make sense. When I realized it's like 4 villagers on wood, I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, well, but it's only that worthwhile when they are on wood, because of course wood's the slowest gathering resource. But
coin is still great. Food is a little bit less amazing.
Yeah, coin's still very good. Yeah, absolutely. But you don't always need coin and wood. I guess what the thing to do is obviously what he is doing right now. He's got almost all of his villagers on food, most of his villagers on food, and then using the trading post to grab the other resources that are obviously less efficient to collect. So there is that. But British now pushing in. He does have the superior mass right now in terms of actual units, but I don't know how well longbowmen and pikemen really stand up to a Fortress Age army, especially now that he's building an artillery foundry. And if we take a look at the units in queue, we'll most likely be putting an organ gun there. And organ guns, when you train them, are actually the shipment not so good, but certainly the actual unit itself going to be very effective against what Goodspeed is making here.
Yeah, but Goodspeed is up to the Fortress Age 2, and falconets do really great against organ guns.
That's true.
Because they outrange them, and 2 falconets one-shot an organ gun.
Yep.
I think.
And getting those, they do, you're absolutely right. 2 Falconets actually one-shot a Falconet as well. So, but these 2 Falconets posing to do damage to this trading post here. And the pikemen, especially veteran pikemen, have very, very good siege damage. Has managed to take out one of these outposts, sorry, trading posts, and is going to be able to quickly take out a second one here as well. They are quite cheap to replace, but given that Green has control of the area, not going to be able to do that, and British now can actually build on top of those if should he want to do that. I do have a Dragoon raid coming in. Go ahead.
It's actually looking a lot better for British than I expected it to.
Yeah, his score's actually still ahead. I think the speed at which he got all those villagers out was perhaps faster than his opponent managed to get the trading route up, and obviously spent 400 resources upgrading it and all of these things. So I think British just enjoying the fact that his, he managed to get the full economy done faster, and as a result, like, is now able to get more units out sooner.
He's actually continuing to make pikes. That's, for Fortress Age, usually pretty uncommon.
Yeah, that is. I mean, he is making Dragoons as well. He's got 1 in queue, but I wonder why that is. Maybe he values the siege potential here. 1 Culverin has come out. And
it's gonna do great.
Ooh, it does do quite good, but he's going to be able to move those back now. Is he going to get a second shot off on the Culverin? Doesn't look like it, so nicely done. Is going to be able to keep those Falcons. Notice the Culverin right away, and now Longbowmen actually have a really, really good range. Looks like he's bringing it in to focus the... No, not the Cull. I thought that was perhaps what he's going to do.
This is pretty risky if there's a double Minuteman pop.
Yeah, that could hurt. Absolutely. Longbowmen, though, very, very efficient. 30% range resist here. Cavalry incoming, though. This is where he's going to have to start thinking. Those pikes are going to have to get into position to force away the cavalry. Minutemen do come out on top of these. The other Minutemen do as well. And maybe we'll even see a shipment pop as well at this town center here. This is just a...
Hussars coming.
5 Hussars joining the fray. Doesn't look like there's enough pikemen to really deal with this, though. And those cannons, they can't get too close. The Cassador's moving back away from the cannons, but now the cannon's moving forward to get to the Cassadors, but now in range of the Culverin, and does lose one of the Falcons. Falc's doing a 360. Having said that, the Longbowmen, though, doing good. There's not really much here to challenge them now that the cavalry have gone.
And there's 10 more Longbows coming in to reinforce.
7 Cassadors does arrive as well, though, so equal reinforcements for both players.
And the Minutemen in the back are dealing out a lot of damage.
Yeah, those things are really strong.
If Knuschelbär can get another 5 cav shipment, maybe you can clean up. But
Yep.
right
But
now, doesn't look like he's able to hold on.
yeah, two Hussars join the fray as well. That's going to be really, really good. He's going to be able to chase down that Culverin, and that's exactly what he needs. Well, actually, he doesn't have an artillery foundry, but still, it's worth getting rid of. And certainly nothing here to stop it. So British are actually on top of it right now. And look at the Portuguese economy. Just 2 trading posts left. And because he's been gathering food all game, because it's the most efficient resource to gather in combination with his trading post economy, look where his villages are. Over here. They've run out of food to gather. There's 1 hunt up here, which of course he can retreat to. But then what next? Berries? I don't think so. There's none nearby. So actually...
berries here already, so...
Yeah, so that's not particularly efficient. So, like, this trading post economy, actually biting him in the ass now. Oh, baby, some Mamelukes do arrive. Those are going to be really strong, but they don't want to fight the... They don't really want to go into this fight without any support. Mamelukes are strong, but not on their own, especially against a couple of pikemen and Hussars as well.
Plenty of pikemen, so...
Yeah, he does have plenty of pikemen.
Actually, pikemen are pretty great against Mamelukes in that Mamelukes have 40% range resist. The pikes deal melee damage.
Yeah. Yep, that's absolutely true. Does manage to get his pikes out of there, and it's going to turn around to finish the siege on this building. British doing really well.
The fire is going to be efficient.
Yeah.
That deals so much damage. 2 shots to pikemen.
Yeah, and that's what he wants to take down.
Have enough anti-cav.
He's going to need... I mean, he's got plenty of actual cavalry, and maybe he can use the Hussars to kind of block the blue cavalry from getting into position on the Longbowmen. And yeah, he's going to force them back around the town center, and if he's clever, maybe he'll pull the Hussars off and keep them nearby. Does take out the town center, though, and there's not really much blue can do. He's trying to stop green, but he doesn't want to get... He doesn't really want to take a fight here. He's just posing nearby to kind of make green stop sieging things. Does have a couple of Cassadors as well, and those are going to be able to take some pot shots. Looks like he's going to go and try and... He's getting into position to fight the Longbowmen, but there's not much room there. Yeah, they're jammed in there. Those cav are going to have a hard time getting us around. And now
I think this might just be it.
yeah, it looks like, well, he has to take this fight now. He's in the thick of it. If he wants to leave, he has to finish killing these cav before he can escape, since the snare is obviously going to keep him here. But Longbowman dishing out really, really good damage, and they're going to be very, very effective against these Dragoons, which he's not targeting because obviously you don't really want to be touching your Longbowman too much. But yeah, going to clean this up, and then the Dragoons, they're not going to do very well against Longbowman, and then he can continue to siege that town center. More reinforcing Longbowman coming in as well. The only thing I'm nervous about is cavalry, right? But there are none in queue at the moment for the blue player, and of course he's used his Mamelukes up as well. But Longbowman can be cleaned up by cavalry pretty easily, since he does not really have any pikemen here.
Yeah, it looks like I don't think Knuschelbär has a lot of resources left. It's the Huns are out, his villages are in the town center, and the trading post economy has basically been cleared up.
Yeah, that's I'm actually really surprised at how effective the villager economy was.
Yeah, I think the big thing that happened is that Goodspeed was able to clean up 2 of the trading posts, which was a large chunk of Knuschelbär's economy.
Yeah, 3 actually, but yes.
Eventually 3 even.
Yeah, eventually 3, yeah. Also, he does have all of those market upgrades on top of the villages as well, which is...
Seems like he's gonna catch all these villagers.
Yeah, really, really nice.
I think maybe you can guess that Knuschelbär is out on the map for the coin. Then he can clean up all these villagers over here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of hussars though, and they are, sadly for him, going to be met by a couple of pikemen that have now been trained and joining the fray, some cavalry as well. British in a very nice spot here. So his agenda now, by the looks of it, is to patrol the food and gold available on the map, because he knows his opponent is going to be out, as you mentioned, looking for that. Blue, on the other hand, is trying to repair the trading route. He's got his explorer up in this location and is building the trading post and will surely work his way down, but I don't think Green will allow him to get more than this single one here. As you can see, now returning to this sort of trading post side of the map to continue this pressure now that he has an adequate number of pikemen and anti-cavalry.
I would personally really like to see Goodspeed take the 2 remaining trading posts.
Yeah, I'd really like that too.
Yeah.
Cavalry getting into position to do some good damage to the longbowmen there. Pikemen are going to chase them, and as a result of that, now they have to go. 2 organ guns do pop out. They're going to be really, really strong against all these really grouped up longbowmen. Plus 10s absolutely everywhere. And those cav... Oh my goodness, he's doing so much damage here. Organ guns, though, sadly have been...
Snipe them like it's nothing.
Yeah. He did
get... Straight on the hussars, doing a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, still reasonably cost effective though, but I just think the more units principle clicking in here, and this is potentially where we see the good game. The blue army has been removed. There's the GG. The score is now 1-1. Goodspeed not wrong. He says, I'll at least pick up 1 game because Virginia Company OP.
Yeah, he was right all along.
He was right all along. I do wonder how good it is, and compared to other British builds, perhaps in and other matchups as well. But certainly proving to us here that it is, very, very competent against what is considered in the meta currently to be a very strong agenda. Portuguese going for a whole trading route with ATP as their first card on Klondike, and does beat that in relatively well. So very impressed by that actually. And Goodspeed.
Actually, Knuschelbär's economy was like basically even to the British one. I'm pretty surprised by that.
Yeah, well, he's actually ahead most of the game as well, surprisingly.
He just didn't get the military mass and then lost the fights pretty badly from being snowballed.
Yeah, but you can look at the villager graph. It just goes up tremendously. He goes from having 18 villages in when he hits up to colonial, and then what?
Just a
and then not
stream of villagers.
Then not 2.5 minutes later has doubled that, more than doubled that. Yeah, but I really like the build. You get up to colonial, make use of those 700 wood shipments and 600 wood. Basically double your vil count and then go up to fortress and play the game out with an extremely efficient economy where you can create those stronger sort of veteran units and have access to cannons and things like that. But a very nice build coming out from Goodspeed, and does bring the score back to 1-1. Let's head out and get into the next game, which will be game number 3.
Apparently I'm a little bit quiet, by the way, so...
Okay, I can turn you up.
Yeah, it's really easy on Discord, right?
No, yeah, it's easy. I've turned you up now. That should be fine. Oh, we do have a donation coming in. $10 from Goodspeed 12. Virginia Company viable, he says.
Okay, we shouldn't doubt it anymore then, I guess.
I have a feeling that's not Goodspeed.
You think so?
Why would he donate to the stream whilst he's currently in game? I have a feeling it might be someone else. But either way, whoever it was, I'm sorry if it is you, Goodspeed. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. Of course, all donations received do go towards future tournaments, the cash prize pool, the prize pools that we do have. This tournament is, of course, brought to you by ESO-community.net. Everything here is, all of the casting, everyone in charge, the website are all done off user donations and is all done voluntarily by members of, well, surprisingly, the ESO, community. Manchuria will be our second map, Jerem.
Yeah, that's the high herdables map with all the yaks and stuff.
So, for this game number 3, Knuschelbär will be able to pick first. So in the very first game, they have to settle on a matchup that they both agree with, or a blind pick rule will be enforced. Almost all of the time, people do find a matchup. But then the second game, which we just saw, was that one we just watched. Goodspeed, because he lost the first game, was able to pick second. So basically, he saw his opponent go Portuguese, and then Goodspeed picked British in response to that. And now, in game number 3, we swap. So now, Knuschelbär will get to pick first. And then the game after that, Goodspeed will pick first. And the game after that, if there is going to be another game, Knuschelbär will pick first. So by the looks of it, Goodspeed is locking in port. We'll confirm that.
I wonder if he's going to water boom.
I wonder too. There is enough water for it. It is potential.
It's kind of limited. It's not like full Kinesi style's probably not the best.
I mean, it's not Indonesia, which I don't think we're going to see in the tournament rotations ever again, probably. Well, maybe we will. But yeah, certainly not as much fish. But by the looks of it, Goodspeed has locked in Portugal, and that is a thing that he could do, absolutely. We'll have to see.
Apparently, I'm still not loud enough. I don't know how it's possible.
Well, they won't know for another 3 minutes because there's a delay.
I'm assuming that too.
You're absolutely loud enough now, so it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. China has been selected in response to this. And
I think that could be a good matchup.
Yeah, I like this matchup too. And China is a civ that we don't see a huge amount of anymore. At least compared to previous tournaments.
We saw it the other day with Irish Faithful versus Soldier, this matchup.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one actually.
I think that was pretty late.
Yeah.
I think Portuguese ended up winning that one, so it's probably a close matchup again. There was some discussion in the chat about like which civ is better, and people were mostly undecided.
All right. Well, the matchup is, of course, starting with the Chinese player in the north of the map in the color blue, Knuschelbär, playing as indeed the Chinese. The score is currently 1-1, and his opponent, here he is, Goodspeed, the one and only, spawning in the south of the map in the colour green, playing as indeed the Portuguese. He's going to be picking up himself a nice 40 wood treasure, and that is exactly what he wants to see, given that he does have that 200 wood start. I imagine that Explorer, yep, absolutely going to make his way back. A beeline for, of course, this trading post site number 1, which will lay down there. And the 50 wood going to be really good for getting that house up. Of course, we'll not have to leave these 2 villages on the housing for quite as long. On the other hand, though, Knuschelbär is going to be sending his, of course, scout right out into the middle of the map. And then, by the looks of it, going to be sweeping back across to find as many cows as he can that could potentially be returning to Goodspeed City, but also just this location. There's usually cows here, and that's what he's looking for. He's not going for that trading post agenda because obviously Chinese, they do have the villages, and of course that is going to interact with the 3 vill shipment. But
actually, it's gonna get like every yak on the map. I think.
Yeah, as a result of having the disciple as well, that's got extra scouting, and actually using these 2 yaks as well. Jeremy was using those to scout the way back, just in case he found some more yaks. Yeah, it's good.
Easy to just. You know at that point, Goodspeed's Explorer just can't be there.
Yeah.
It's like impossible, so... It does look like he missed these 2. I thought he literally ran past them, but...
well, they've just walked into his line of sight, so... He can look back on the map and see it now because it's just walked off the black area if you put Control-Shift-F on. But yeah, managed to pick up, if we take a look at the economic units, he does have 6 cows compared to his opponent's 1, which is really, really good for China, especially since he can task them to the villages to fatten a little bit quicker. And, you know, he was able to get all of those as a result of the green player building the trading post, right?
Yeah, on this version of the patch, they slightly nerfed the fattening rate in, I think, Discovery and a bit in Colonial Age, but I'm not sure on the second one.
Yeah.
But they do fatten a little bit slower compared to
A
the
livestock
RE patch.
pen. Oh, yeah, and a lot slower compared to a livestock
They
pen.
changed that to make China slightly less dominant on livestock maps.
Yeah, because they are quite strong currently. But treasures, let's take a look at those, Jerem. Goodspeed picking up 50 wood as his starting muskrat treasure. He's going to be very pleased about that. And 90 wood as well. Really, really good treasures from the Portuguese player here. Though, thankfully for Knuschelbär, he does find himself an 85 wood treasure as well. So not too far behind in terms of treasures.
Yeah, and it's interesting to point out that this map spawn is like not the greatest for Goodspeed, because you can also have a 3 trading post line on this map. It's kind of random.
Yeah.
But this one spawned with the 2, so his stagecoach stuff is not gonna be as insane.
Yeah, that's right. In this particular match, not opting to go for ATP like we saw in the last game, just not enough trading posts. Only 2 as you're mentioning here, and instead sent 300 wood, which is going to give him certainly a stronger early game. But 300 wood definitely does not scale quite as well as ATP, or obviously the shipments that China has available, such as the northern refugees.
Wood is pretty interesting. It's not really standard at the moment.
No.
Most people choose to either ATP or save the shipment, but Goodspeed doesn't agree with them, it seems.
Yeah, it doesn't
I've been
look like
trying
it.
the 300 wood, and it's like, maybe you get slightly less wood, but it makes all your build orders really smooth.
It does, and by the looks of it, it also allows you to build a trading post. It's enough wood for that, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to march over to his opponent's side of the map and lay down a normal cost 200 wood trading post there. So he's going to have 3 trading posts in this agenda. And China, given that he's doing a fast fortress, he's not going to be able to do anything about it. You know, China's just going to sit here gathering food like he has all villages on food, a couple on wood, as you can see there, for perhaps a village. But and obviously some building the Wonder as well. But
I think he's actually gonna throw down a trading post with this.
Or with the China's wood. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, there's still nothing he can do about this green one on his side of the map, right? Because he's fast fortressing. He's doing a straight FF. He's not going to be building a barracks until he's gotten the age up in queue, or at least until that 700 wood shipment arrives. And that's going to be completely uncontested. Goodspeed is going to get away with this really easily. And if he does want to do something, Knuschelbär is going to have to sort of start sieging with the units that he's training in the Fortress Age, and that means any pressure he wants to apply to Portugal is going to be delayed, because he's going to have to march all the way over here, kill it, march all the way back, and then across the map. And Portugal, all this time, is going to be benefiting from all the town centres, and of course the trading posts that he's built as well.
Yeah, I think China's probably going to aim for a strong fortress timing to break the Portuguese 3-town center economy eventually.
Yeah, and China definitely very good at that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think in this matchup, the longer the game goes, the better it is for Portuguese.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But China has the typical China fortress mass, where you wonder how they got all those units.
Yeah, they. I mentioned several times in previous commentaries, they have a particularly large anal cavity, isn't that right? Where they store all of these units and pull them out in times of need.
Yeah. It always surprises me how China suddenly has 1 million units. And
yeah, they
I
really do come out
how,
quickly.
I have no idea why they get so many units. Yeah, eco is usually not really
that good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, obviously we know what it is. It's a combination of, like, all of the shipments that they get, and there's particularly strong ones. Like, it's, for those wondering who perhaps have not seen an ESOC tournament before, China is going up to the Fortress Age, and then he hasn't sent very many shipments, so for the rest of the game we'll save them up and just send all of these really powerful Fortress Age units here. And of course he'll get units for free out of the Summer Palace, and of course he'll get units for... where else do you get units from for free out of the consulate?
You
as well?
sometimes get the Flying Crow Wonder, which used to be really common, but nowadays people tend to go for the Porcelain Tower, which is basically a 6 villager wonder.
Yeah, it's really strong, and that's also very useful for training units as well. But Knuschelbär, 700 coin has arrived, also 600 coin as well, and that is all the coin he needs now to age up to the next stage. Does have that, and does have the resources available, and there is the 6 villager tower basically, which is just a tower that is effectively a factory.
It's actually even 8 villagers according to the UI, so...
wow.
That's so sick, it's like insane.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how China always has 1 million units.
Yeah, because he gets 8 villages for free when he hits up to the next stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Portugal, what's he up to? We do see some cavalry coming in. He's trained them at the stable that he built by the looks of it. And is going to be able to... does call the sentries. Do you think he's going to try and take out the monk before leaving?
No, he has to leave.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight these sentries. They have quite the damage against cavalry, but already in combat
he does
here...
want to fight the sentries.
Yeah, this fight's not actually too bad. These sentries don't really have too many hit points. You can actually easily just take them down if you have 5 hussars. It's not a huge problem.
I think people are maybe a little bit too scared of the sentries. I've seen this happen before. It's 5 cav clean them up quite easily.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna disrupt the entire economy from Knuschelbär.
Yeah, and delay the age up as well by moving those villages off. These cavalry are going to be really pesky. I know all of his resources are really close to his base, and he has done a very good job of herding, but cavalry's still going to be surprisingly useful here. Having said that, though, with 2 villages and a town centre to garrison, it can be kind of difficult. It does look like we do have 3 pikemen and 3 Chokanu training, of course, for free at the Summer Palace here.
Yeah, this means he has to back off with his hussars.
Yeah, but some damage done, and worth training anyway, because, you know, you bring them into the next stage and you can upgrade them to veteran at some point as well. Still useful and still something to do during transition. But for Goodspeed, by the looks of it, 700 wood has arrived, and we'll be using that to fund the 2 barracks that we see here. And of course...
And Goodspeed has clicked up to H3 too, so...
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? With 2 shipments saved, holy balls, that's...
Yeah, he has 3 TPs, but none of them are stagecoach, so he's just...
So he's just generating
experience.
Yeah. A ton of XP there. And maybe that's why he's okay with sending 300 wood. Maybe it was this map and the knowledge that he wouldn't be able to task the trading post to anything other than XP. And as a result of that, we just have so many shipments that it just makes sense to send 300 wood in the early game. Because, you know, when you hit up to Fortress, which he has just done, getting those 2 shipments out, they're not going to be fully out. And he'll probably have another shipment by the time they arrive. So it's going to take a whole minute and a half anyway for them to finish all arriving. And if he'd saved that 300 wood, you know, he'd have another one, perhaps, something like that. Well, he wouldn't, obviously, because he would have sent it on a colonial shipment. But still, this progression would take even longer to get out. That's what I'm saying.
Look at the military, or the economic unit population, the recalculated one. With the porcelain tower, China's actually ahead.
China? Oh my god.
That's just how insane that thing is.
Maybe the issue is that they can build villages during transition, because, like, you continue building villages during colonial and fortress age transition, so you don't take a hit like Spain does when you're doing a fast fortress, and you get 8 villages effectively, because this thing generates 4 wood a second, and, you know, a lot of the time, well, villages gather, I think, 0.5 wood per second, so you can see why it's 8 villages. It's just insane.
Yeah, this is... But China doesn't scale that great, not like Portuguese.
No, it's just a one-time thing, isn't it? But given all of the units that they get as well, and that this Fortress Age build is more for the aggression and the pressure that you can put on because of all the units you get, and you just get those villages as well. So that, like, yes, they don't scale as well, but it doesn't matter, right? Because you just get so many units quickly that...
Yeah, and it looks like he's thinking about starting the timing.
Yeah,
trying
I think
to arrest the Portuguese player.
Yeah.
He shipped the musketeers from the home city, the intervention shipment.
Yep, he did, as well as the 10 arquebusier in combination with with the units he's just managed to create. Now walking across the map, he has built a forward village, which I imagine will be used as a home city spawn point for, of course, future shipments. And the pressure, the storm is coming. Now, this matchup is very much China as the aggressor and Portuguese has established themselves as the defender here. But the storm is coming, and can he hold it?
Mark's actually doing an interesting build. He's doing the 1000 wood, 1000 coin.
He's always been a huge advocate for resource crates. He thinks they're very, very efficient.
This is like the premier Goodspeed game. He's like trading posts and crates and nothing else.
He values crates a lot, and it makes sense, right? Because they are worth more resources than unit shipments, and if you can, it does take longer to convert all these resources into units, but if you do manage to do that, very, very efficient. He just plays efficiently. That's what he's looking for here. But as a result of this efficiency, he's just lost his stable because perhaps doesn't have, you know, the units available immediately enough to defend here.
Yeah, he's kind of overmade goons in he can't really contest these skirmishers at the moment.
No, he doesn't have enough Castadors to do that. Does have some Hussars, but doesn't want to commit to a fight there because then he's going to have to take damage from shots from all of these units and risk getting into combat with, of course, the Musketeers and the Pikemen as well. So the Cav are able to deal with the Meteor Hammers and those accidentally being fed into him by Knuschelbär there, so he's going to be pretty pleased about that. We do see 10 more Castadors coming out, and this might be good. He could pop double, of course, Minutemen from here.
First Minutemen have been popped, the second might be huge. But the Chengdaos totally surround the Hussars. There's the extra set of Minutemen and another Castador shipment. Look like Goodspeed has trapped Knuschelbär.
Yeah. And he's going to be able to clean up all of these units. So really nicely done with the double Minutemen pop on top of the shipment as well. The Meteor Hammers here, perhaps that's what Knuschelbär ought to have waited for. You know, his units here, if it wouldn't have been much longer to wait.
It looks like China units do China things. Still clean up.
Yeah, but still enough Dragoons here to clean up those Meteor Hammers, and the Castador's going to do reasonably well against all of these infantry. You know, Musketeers don't stand up very well to Castadors. But that's the problem. Yeah. More China.
He's basically out of Dragoons, and I don't think the stable has just been rebuilt.
Castadors do arrive, though, and all of the cavalry, there's only one left there, and then it will be and I think actually, it always comes, and there's some Dragoon shipment as well, so actually Portugal now back on top of this.
Yeah, it's really close, but I think Portugal is gonna hold on with the shorter reinforcement lines.
Yeah, and 2 town centers chucking out a bunch of damage as well. That's always valuable.
I think at this point Knuschelbär needs to retreat, but it was a pretty close fight, and like the game is still.
Yeah, you think they came off
even?
You think they came off reasonably even in terms of the trading in the army there?
Yeah, I think it was pretty fine. The thing is, Goodspeed had so many TPs that he's gotten a lot of shipments, but his next shipments will arrive slower.
Yeah.
So if you trade units, you get experience in shipments, which is in this case, I think, in the favor of China. Which you can see, he got another 11 Chengdao shipment. And is doing some quite nice raiding here. I think 2 vills already.
And a third. And all 3.
He's gotta get the other, yeah.
But those units are a bit far away now. They are, you know, perhaps vulnerable
The organ
down.
guns have been shipped, and they cleaned up a lot of.
Yeah, they're going to force that pressure off. Yep. Portuguese economy is now starting to take ahead then. You know, as you mentioned, the scaling earlier. 3 town centers definitely, well, obviously scales better than 4. Did just lose 3 villages, though, to a raid. And by the looks of it here, these Musketeers forcing the gold mine villages into the town center. They're not going to catch any more. But I do wonder if these Musketeers ought to be staying here for much longer. Because, you know, they're quite vulnerable on their own without the other units to protect them.
And Goodspeed got another shipment. He's getting so many shipments.
Yeah, I want to look at the shipment graph after this. It's gonna be crazy. He's like 2 shipments ahead of his opponent.
I think at this point the clock's ticking for China.
Yeah.
Goodspeed has basically gotten ahead in economy finally. So now it's just, yeah, he has to soon go.
Yeah. Portugal does have to. All he needs to do now is just hang on and not die, and he'll be all right. So he just wants to.
The military unit population is really even.
Yep. China though gonna come. So it's all gonna come down to this fight here. Changdao though not gonna do too well against organ guns, and of course the Castadors as well. But does have some cavalry there. He's gonna be able to go. It does take out one of the organ guns, and the other is still alive. But the Changdao are gonna make sure. No one's targeting it.
Meteor hammers like 3-shot them, so but he misclicked them. I think Goodspeed's gonna come out ahead of this fight by quite a large margin.
Yeah, I think he got a really good trade on this particular one, and that's not. China really needed to win this fight to get back into the game, given that his opponent is ahead in terms of economy. But actually, that's not true now. Did lose a few villages, the green player.
Yeah, Goodspeed has been slacking a bit on villager population. Well, I think Knuschelbär has been really smooth and great.
Yeah, do you think
Which means the military unit population is still basically even, and the economic unit population is almost even too. So it's still a really close game.
It's still a really close game, but Goodspeed still, as you mentioned earlier, has the potential to scale harder and does have more trading posts as well, though by the looks of it. Oh dear, we do see no more food. Is going to be building a mill, and that suddenly is, and given that China has, 2 hunts left, that's really not very good at all for him.
Yeah, that might be a timing for China here. To finally and definitively break the Portuguese player.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was so low on Hunt. That's a real big deal. I was going to say, well, Portugal's ahead because he's got 3 town centers, which makes it easy to defend, but also gives him the better scaling for the late game. But what do you think of right now? Like, he doesn't have that church card in his deck, but the only thing I can think of, like one of the outs here, which means you wouldn't have to build a mill, is to gather 2,400 wood and ship the best stereos, something like that, and then you've got like, you know, basically veteran crossbowmen. And you get
I think there's basically no other option than milling, and the military population is still kind of close. And he's gotten a little bit ahead in villager count finally.
Yeah. Higher Egyptian Mamelukes has arrived.
Oh wow.
Now he's going to push out. I wonder if
I forgot about that shipment. That might be
yeah
on the coffin for Goodspeed here.
It's definitely very, very strong. And here there aren't very many anti-cavalry at all. This is a really good fight for Mamelukes. He's just going to jam them in there. There are some Changdao, actually. I did notice those. They were a little bit off my screen.
Yeah, Changdaos are great against Mamelukes, I think.
Yeah, but he's just going to kite them back, right? And he's got the Dragoons and Cassadors to kill these basically melee units, which are just walking around, not doing any damage. They're trying to get to the Mamelukes. Dragoons getting out the way there. That they also take mass damage from them. So.
I think Goodspeed is mismicroing a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. The Mamelukes are just finding themselves fighting Changdao. That's not what they want at all.
This is an insane fight for Knuschelbär.
That is.
Dragoons are walking around not shooting. Mamelukes are almost down. 2 super low HP.
He did really well in this fight. I think actually he's just won the game. That fight just there won him the game.
That was insane.
I think we might see a GG.
And it says GG. Wow.
And resigns.
What a game.
What? It was just decided so quickly. Do you think he made a mistake building the mills and instead of perhaps, should have pushed out sooner or gotten Mameluke sooner or something like that and pushed out to secure more hunt? Or?
I have no idea. I think there were no accessible hunt. Maybe, I'm not sure if he did, but maybe Knuschelbär or prioritized some of the mid-map hunts first because he still has 3 hunts left.
Yeah, that might actually be a thing. Like, I wonder what would happen in this matchup if it were to continue. And like, the only reason Port's pushed out there with Mams was because he's run out of hunt rate. He needs to go get some. But imagine if there were lots more hunt available behind this map. Like, let's say it's like a Great Plains.
If you look at the military population graph, it like pushing out wasn't insane. I thought Goodspeed had it. Just look at that fight. It's so brutal.
Yeah. Oh, that's a poorly done fight, perhaps.
Yeah,
so okay,
it's safe to say that didn't go too well for him.
Yeah, so let's say that fight had gone a bit better and they'd microed evenly. Do you think that Portugal would be ahead at this point if it sort of done well in that fight? Or do you think the lack of hunt is still going to be a huge problem for him going into the later portion of the game?
Despite the fact that he was on mills, I think Portugal is still a great late game civ. So, but Goodspeed did cut quite a few vills. Like, he didn't have the most perfect villager production.
Yeah.
So the economies were kind of even. It was a really close game. I
but
think
that might be he might have been deliberately neglecting his villager training to just to hang in there a bit longer against when there was some pushes or something like that.
Yeah, it was really close. I think if he had continued villager production, then he would have just died.
Yeah, well, very interesting game. The score is now 2-1 to Goodspeed, and that I was expecting to go to Goodspeed. So, yeah, this is a best of 3 series, though. So, sorry, best of 5 series. So it will be first to 3 victories as the winner. Match point for Knuschelbär, and we'll see if Goodspeed can bring it back to 2-2. But this next match, Goodspeed does have the advantage because he gets to pick after his opponent does. So we'll see Knuschelbär. I swear I say his name differently every single time. He will pick his civ first and then Goodspeed afterwards, which will obviously engineer him, will give him the opportunity to engineer a perhaps better matchup. So let's get into that and see what they decide to choose.
Yeah, Bengal is a pretty interesting map to first pick on. Like, there's a lot of civs that benefit from the no TPs, like India, Dutch, even Aztec or China. So I'm wondering what Knuschelbär has in mind.
Also, the civilizations have reset. I think that is worth pointing out to the stream. So far, they have not been allowed to play civs that they have already played. But when you get to the halfway point, which in a best of 5 is after game 3. So, yes, well, is game 3. So we're going into, well, you know, it is now, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's I think it's a tough pick here. I feel like maybe British is the best civ. Goodspeed's gonna play British probably.
Yeah, well, Goodspeed is a huge fan of his British, and
so maybe you pick something that beats British.
And British would be a good pick on a map without trading posts as well, I think. So, you know, Bengal definitely the opportunity for that. Yeah. So you think that's what Knuschelbär's going to do? He's going to pick a civ that beats British. He probably anticipates Goodspeed will go British.
That would be pretty great mind games.
Yeah, but that's like I think the point of these this new rule set. I mean, in the past,
is there a civ that realistically beats British hard enough,
or does well enough against British, and is still a safe enough pick? That if perhaps Goodspeed doesn't go British, you know, that civ would still be okay. Something like. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you pick British here, then you might force a mirror, which is pretty good for first pick.
I was wondering, like, China again or something like that. There is no trading.
China's not insane. This map has also has the Yak, so.
Yeah, there's no trading post though. That's worth pointing out. But I still think China could be an interesting option to go for again. And Knuschelbär clearly showing us last game, even though he did lose that, there were some really good fights that he was able to get a hold of. He is clearly quite good at that particular play style. So China's still an option.
Yeah, I think he's thinking hard about it. It's a tough pick.
Japan comes out. Okay.
But then he picks right into British. Yeah, like I said.
All right.
And this is the matchup we saw in game 1, but the other way around. It seemed pretty great for British. Knuschelbär can't be happy about this.
Well, he's locked in.
He had nothing to do about it at this point.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Game number 4 in this best of 5 series. The score is currently 2-1 in favor of Knuschelbär. But Goodspeed here does have the advantage in this matchup in the sense that his pick will perhaps be more favorable, gets to play British into Japan, and he's probably going to be feeling quite happy about that. Knuschelbär, 1 game up over him though, so is still in a reasonable position even if he doesn't come out on top of this game. But maybe he has something prepared, and we have seen stranger things happen. But it is not unwinnable for Japan, I will point that out, but perhaps is British favoured. Here we do have Knuschelbär in the left-hand side of the map in the colour blue, indeed playing as Japan, laying down that cherry orchard right away. He's not going to be doing any extra scouting with that or anything like that, and that is because, of course, he only has the 1. Though there are berry bushes here, I wonder if that was worth thinking about. But he's going to be sending his explorers right out into the middle of the map and does come across a 65 coin. I wonder if there's anything else nearby that's interesting. 40 coin and 30 XP is also nothing hugely valuable there. The British explorer, though, does pick up the first yak and is going to do some damage straight away to Knuschelbär's explorer, going to force him away there and perhaps can grab that 65 coin. So far has come across 20 coin and 30 food as well, but British, if we follow the line of sight back to his base, here he is in the colour red, Goodspeed on the right-hand side, British versus Japan.
Yeah, I think this should be a good matchup for British, but yeah, I think I would be happy as Goodspeed here. Happy with my civ choice.
Yeah, and happy with this 90 wood treasure as well. Always really, really good for British. There it is. And that is one of the sort of big treasures. When I'm looking around for treasures in that sort of early portion of the map. Oh, you're right. Here he is. Can he get it, though? I don't see the red explorer, but Knuschelbär does get it, so he's going to be really pleased about that because
he didn't get snared, so he's just going to walk
away. And gets away as well. That's so cheeky. That snare
that's just a shrine for you, Japan.
Yeah, it's a whole shrine, and also it's 1 less mana for British, so it's quite a big swing in this matchup. That would really, really nice there. And the British explorer took all the damage fighting it as well. And by the looks of it, if he maintains this this direction, he should be able to get away from the red player. The problem is, though, he's running out of room, and there's a big wall in the way on Bengal, so I'm not sure how far he's going to get. Maybe he's waiting for well, maybe he wants to lead the British explorer as far away as possible before poofing or something like that.
Yeah, and poof out.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's going to do.
Basically, Goodspeed is wasting quite a bit of time.
Yeah, there's no point following him around, right, because he can poof.
He's juking him. Oh, finally got it.
Yeah. Maybe
and
he
just moves away.
Yeah, maybe though. On the other hand, maybe Japan was hoping that British would stop following him, so that he didn't have to use the poof and would have it available for later. But yeah, he's going to get his explorer back into safety range there. But that was a pretty interesting age one. Goodspeed though, pretty close to aging up, has almost got all the food he needs off these elephants, and then we'll be clicking up to the next stage. Virginia Company has just landed though. We are going to see a repeat of last time. And I think this build is particularly good against what Japan's doing. And here he's going to go for Heavenly Kami. I thought maybe he could catch him off guard with some kind of forward consulate shenaniganry, with the club rush or something like that. That'd be really good against the Virginia build, at least I think so. But actually going to be playing standard Japan here.
I think the standard British style is much better against Japan. Because, like, the thing is, if you let Japan do their thing and like get those Yumi with the million attack, and that's the point where Japan shines, maybe even more so than British.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Knuschelbär was thinking when he picked Japan. Like, Goodspeed's just gonna do British and Virginia Company, and I know how to beat that.
That's
I practiced
true.
for that or something.
I actually.
I wonder if
that Divine Strike, holy crap! It didn't. He pardon me, but I was under the impression that all of these houses, of course, it's now aging up and probably going to be going up with the Philosopher's Prince like we saw earlier, so that 500 food he ages up with will be able to sustain villager production and just have every single villager on wood. We'll get a market down, I imagine, probably in the middle of the map or something like that for Gangsaw and the other upgrades, but every single villager on wood just going to be building houses, getting tons of villagers out very, very quickly. I thought that style of play would be really strong against Japan because you'd be able to get your economy up way faster than they do. But you're saying that actually, perhaps not the case. Japan will benefit from the extra time that British won't be sort of building that racks and tower in the middle of the map and then starting to pressure them, kind of like we saw in that first game. Instead, he's going to have plenty of time to get his Yumi archers, as you mentioned, upgraded and just really, really strong. And that's where Japan shines, you say?
Yeah, I think like Japan is the best eco war late game civ.
Yeah, but British is going to have a stronger economy early on in this game, certainly though.
Yeah, that's so. I wonder if he gets the timing to punish Japan.
Yeah,
but I doubt it actually.
Look at this again. This explorer's chasing this guy up again. It's pretty funny, but. Alright, so that's what we're seeing from British. He's going for Virginia Company, and his first shipment will most likely be, of course, 700 wood.
Yeah, he's just gonna 700 wood it up and
Japan on the other hand.
Manners.
So what do you do as Japan here? Just normal things, or is there like knowing that you have more time and that your opponent will not be as fast, is not going to be as aggressive? What do you do differently?
I think maybe as Japan you just don't make units and only make economy. And then age up and only make Yumi archers. That's probably what I would do. I actually, I played against the Virginia Company built as Dutch a few times before, and Dutch actually beats that.
Yeah.
So it's the economy is great, but it's also not that insane. I mean, it's just 23 villagers, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, actually, in this game,
seems like an understatement. He's getting,
just looking at all these foundations, this is crazy. But he has got his barracks up sooner than he would normally. In that last game we saw, that was, he didn't get his barracks. Oh, we do receive a donation. $5 coming in from 91. Thank you very much. Of course, all the money that we do receive on this stream does go to future tournaments hosted by ESO-community.net. Thank you very, very much. But yes, he does have the barracks up sooner than he did. He got the barracks up off his 600 wood in the previous game, or in the last game we saw him do Virginia Company. Here he's got them off of his 700 wood.
He's going slightly less economy focused.
So he is aware that Japan, he doesn't want to give him all that time.
Yeah, he's getting some pikes to just try to control the shrines a little bit.
Ah, that makes sense, yeah. So he's going to do...
Actually, Knusch didn't make all that many shrines. And he has 5 Yumi out already.
Huh. Maybe he's going to...
Yeah, he's gonna try to defend his shrines, I suppose.
Yeah.
Instead of booming up and just accepting the loss, which is another style of Japan. But I'm surprised, I didn't expect that.
He's not wrong, it is a little bit laggy, I can see that. I did just check, but it's not, I haven't dropped any frames or anything like that. Perhaps we're going to pause and wait for it to pass.
Yeah, for some reason, if you pause, it sometimes just clears up. I can do a little speed test for a second.
No, don't do that.
Will it make it die?
It utilizes all your resources, so it'll just make it lag even more. Well, I guess you can do it, but
Yeah, I don't think my internet's struggling.
did you change anything?
No, but it's
Yes.
probably just a little spike, and for some reason AoE doesn't really want to sync it.
Yeah, it's that peer-to-peer connection thing. It's a bit awkward. Game was coded a long time ago. But Yumi archers do come out, but not in time to defend that shrine there. The pikemen do manage to bring that down. But now Longbowman versus Yumi.
Yeah,
5 more Yumi are going to reinforce, though. That's pretty good. Whilst these pikes are looking for shrines, but they're not going to find any. There just aren't any on the map for him to kill down here. So these pikemen are going to be wandering around in the wilderness of Bengal in this sort of Vietnamese style, well, wilderness.
Yeah, Knuschelbär went up to only 100 shrine pop.
Well, Indian style wilderness, I suppose it is Bengal. 100 shrine pop, that's not very much at all.
No, that's like really surprising.
What do you think he's got in mind then? Maybe he thought, okay, British is going to go Virginia Company. I'm gonna be more aggressive. Is that what he had in mind? Maybe he wants to capitalize on the fact that British is going to be all slow here and wants to get some units out early. 10 Longbow do pop. They're going to be really good against these 4 Yumi that are caught off guard. They're not with the other Yumi, bringing them now forward here, but not before he gets a really nice trade on that batch there. Now,
That was great for Goodspeed.
yeah, and
Longbowmen, like in early H2, they're a little bit more cost efficient.
Yeah.
Yumi only get insane after all these great upgrades.
yeah, and Ashigari Musketeers coming in as well now. Perhaps he's worried of cavalry or something. But a batch of 4 Yumi and the Explorer coming in again, and this is not good. These Ashigarus, oh, they're taking so much damage, and now they're trying to escape up the north side here. They do have superior speed and will be able to get away, but there's nowhere to go up here.
No, but if you look at the recalculated economic unit population, it's not that great for British actually.
No,
It's kind of even,
it is kind of even.
which surprises me.
Yeah, but his 600 wood shipment, by the looks of it's just arrived, and he's going to be slamming down some manners with that. Is that true, or is that a while ago? I do
You
wonder.
can make 2 more manners, so
Yeah.
it arrived. It did arrive a while ago, so
Yep. Yeah, well, what we've seen is Japan has sent 8 villager shipment, which is pretty good. He sent both the 4 twice. Yeah, well, it's only slightly in favour of British here, but British does have the superior economy here and the potential to run him ragged. Look, there are shrines on the map, and these pikes are walking around finding them. I really like this. I love how he built all his shrines, like, on the opposing side of the map. The pikeman wasn't expecting that and found them perhaps later than normal, and as a result of that, they've been able to generate more resources.
oh, he's gonna lose both.
Both of them go down. No more shrines now. Those are really hard to get back. You can't just buy them, ransom them.
Yeah, that sucks a lot. And
So
like the British,
your assessment of that sucks a lot. I love
yeah.
that. You're not wrong.
No, it looks like the Virginia company is viable after all, because Goodspeed is in a great position. I hope we get another donation out of that.
Yeah, another $10 from Goodspeed saying Virginia Company is viable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
That would be quite amusing. But Naginata's riders have now entered the fray. We do have a stable coming down from Japan, and these are going to be really good against the naked longbowmen. There's nothing here to protect them. Pikemen are on the other side of the map, and the only reinforcing units are longbowmen. So really, this is going to be really, really good because he's going to have to fight all these cavalry off before he can even do anything about the ranged attack units. So all the
But
Bestiarios and the
it's,
Ashigarus here are going to get lots of free damage in, but the Naginatas haven't lasted that long, and now actually, surprisingly to me, has managed to clean that up reasonably effectively. I thought the Cav would be a really, really big power swing here.
Yeah, longbows are one of those units that.
Oh, that
can
range is
fight
disgusting.
cavalry.
On the retreat, he's just taking so much damage. Oh my goodness. Do you think he ought to have waited for this second batch of Naga, or do you think he saw the opportunity and just thought, shit, longbowman without any pikes nearby, I'm going to take that, and then obviously...
Yeah, well, clearly you shouldn't have taken that fight, so.
But why were the longbowmen so effective against Nags? Have they just not got very many HP
they're
relative
like-
to other Cav? I mean, they're not as strong as Hussars, or they are.
Compared to skirmishers, they're more high DPS and less bonus.
Oh, and they're
against
walking
infantry.
around so much. Yeah.
All of Knuschelbär's units are basically going to get cleared up.
Yeah.
So Longbowmen basically just have a lot of DPS, so
Yeah, okay.
because of the rate of fire is like 1.5 instead of 3, so they fire twice as fast.
Fucking hell, that is quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
once
like,
you mass up a lot of longbowmen, they're pretty good. No wonder Azam names his streams LB good unit.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
They
But
actually like, I saw a video a while ago that really surprised me. Like 10 longbowmen beat 10 Yumi before all the upgrades.
yeah, well,
So
yeah, well,
they're just an
and
insane
here,
unit.
Knuschelbär just being overwhelmed by the looks of it. These couple of shrines on the front being taken out. The longbowmen creeping around, perhaps looking for villagers on Cherry Orchard or a gold mine or something like that. Yeah, here they come in. They're coming in to perhaps get some shots off, and as a result, that Knuschelbär is going to put his villagers into the town centre. Just a big mass of British units now on top of him. Relatively even economy, so British is ahead, but look at that military unit score. He's just with like the efficiency of the fights earlier, like.
Yeah, and Knuschelbär also has to ship the Cherry Orchard, so
That's
he's
going to slow
going
him
for a
down too.
desperation age up, I think.
Yeah.
There's no way this works, but if it does, he can win. I think I like it in that he's basically dead, so
Yeah,
try something.
so it's worth taking that risk, right? Like, you're almost certainly dead 95% of the time, and I think aging up increases that to maybe 98% of the time, but that 2% of the time where it works could be really strong because you have access to, the shipments and the things that come with that. So I think, like when desperate times call for desperate measures, you have to take risks, and you have to hope they work, because if they don't, well, you're dead anyway, and if they do, well, you saved your ass somehow.
Look at this Cherry Orchard. I wonder what's up with it.
It's so
Usually
far
you can
away.
just- yeah. He's ninjaing vills over the map now as Japan.
Yeah. Here comes the longbowman. You can see that coming in from his Toshogu shrine and gets the villagers off the wonder. It will age, but now much slower because there's nobody building it. And do you think he just focuses the wonder here? I mean, obviously when it gets up,
They have like a lot of recovery, but if it gets up, he should focus it.
yeah.
Like when it's building, apparently they just regenerate hit points like crazy.
Yeah, they do, but you can actually destroy them if the hit point bar does reach 0, but obviously you can't ever see where it is at. I have managed to kill it before once upon a time, but yeah, perhaps not the best thing to do. Instead, clearly the better thing to do with his siege potential would be to destroy other buildings, particularly barracks and stables, but those are in the back. Cavalry do come out, Goodspeed having quite the number, and that is going to clean up these Yumis pretty easily. The desperation age up.
He just kills the town center.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably see a GG any moment now. And maybe he'll receive his first shipment and then quit to show us what his first shipment was, but does not look like. He says no idea why I played the Japanese, but that is just a facet of the way the civilization selection works here, and as a result of that, Goodspeed able to pick himself up a victory here. The score is now 2-0, and this is making the series very interesting. We're coming down to that final game again. Happening surprisingly often in this tournament now. The final game being the deciding
there
one.
have been a lot of close games at the moment. I think part of it is the civ picking is it's more balanced in that the balance is all over the place, and I have no idea what the best civs are. Maybe British, some people say Portuguese, stuff like that. So the counter picking is like much more influential.
Yeah.
And on the previous patch, it was just like I picked Germany and you can't counter me. So let's mirror.
Yeah, Germany were quite strong
but
on
then
that.
the better player just wins 3 mirrors and takes a series.
Yeah, I do like the new civ rules and that Germany has toned down a bit. I think it just encourages less mirrors, which I think was a criticism of previous tournaments. And also, what it does do, I mean, Knuschelbär wasn't perhaps as... He's wondering why he played Japs here, but that's just a facet of him perhaps not being as prepared as, say, another player with perhaps more civs to play and... and might not find themselves in a position where this actually ends up happening. And what that has done is encourage players who are good with multiple civs to do better, and results in some really, really close series like this 2-2 one that we're watching right now. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get out of this game and head into our final match between these two, the deciding game number 5. This series, I'm actually really impressed by
Yeah, it's been a great
By
series
Goodspeed's
so far.
Virginia.
Yeah, I hope we see some more of it. I want to see more Virginia company builds because I have no idea how strong it is. When Goodspeed does it, it does seem really great, but
Yeah. I wonder how
I've
good
also
it...
seen it disappoint a bit, like when I try it.
Yeah. To be fair, I feel like that about all of Azamp's strategies. I'll watch him play and be like, oh, this thing's really good, and then when I do it, it's just not.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, feels bad, man. But here, Knuschelbär does get to pick afterwards, so Goodspeed will be picking first for this final game.
Yeah, Knuschelbär did select the British. So
Yeah. So he is okay.
hold on a second, I'm getting a phone call.
Okay, see you in a sec. All right, looks like Knuschelbär has changed from Japan to British, and that, by the looks of it, is going to be his civilization that he locks in. I'll ask him. Locking British in potentially for this final game, and then Goodspeed gets to pick afterwards. Actually, I'm wrong. I don't know. I think I asked them a stupid question. How about we just wait for Jerem to get back? I said Goodspeed picks first, and then proceeded to talk about how Knuschelbär picks first. I'm actually just losing the will. This series is a long one. Yeah, I'll go with that. Alright, let's wait for Jerem to get back. But we do have 268 viewers. Not too bad at all. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Really, really nice to see so many people this early on as well during the stream. You know, we've only just really started it up. And this is our first series for today. I'll actually put up the overlay so you can see the schedule if anyone was interested. Don't worry. I will definitely turn the overlay off. In fact,
Alright, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back. Oh, we're going to green in now, are we? Okay, let me turn the overlay back off then.
Yeah, it looks like Goodspeed picked Japan and Knuschelbär decided to Russia in.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 5 in this best of 5 series between Knuschelbär and Goodspeed. By the looks of it, Goodspeed has locked in the Japanese as his civilization of choice, and then Knuschelbär does get to pick afterwards, and that is the Russians that he has chosen. They've been alternating since the first game, where of course Goodspeed lost. So there is certainly that. But and actually, as a result of that very first game that Goodspeed lost, that does give Knuschelbär the final advantage overall. As in this final match, he gets the final pick to go second. So actually, he's had more favorable picks than his opponent has. So he does get rewarded for doing well earlier on in the series, which is nice for him, and I think the way it ought to be as well. But yes, we do have. Here he is, spawning in the left-hand side of the map in the color blue. The Russians starting with 200 wood there. How you doing, Jeremy? Are you with us?
Yeah, I am.
Absolutely.
I'm like thinking this is a great matchup for Russia.
Yeah, he's going to be really pleased about this.
Yeah, I had to play King of Osman in the tournament, and this is one of the matchups I practiced a lot. And like 90% of the game I won in under 10 minutes. So I don't think Japan is a great first pick. They have some insane counters like Russia, Aztec.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, first pick, there's that first pick and second pick meta. There's a first pick civ that needs to be like solid against against most things. So, you know, civilizations like France. And then second pick civs, you can be a lot more comfortable going with a civ like Japan, and that's when you want to get them out of the way, perhaps, because, you know, if you're good as Japan, you want to take it then, when it's harder, where they can't really counter it, and then obviously you can only play that civ once until the reset. But yeah, up against Japan here. Do you want to tell us about this matchup then? Why is it that Russia do so well?
Well, basically Russia has units before Japan has anything, and then it's as simple as Japan that just dies. And that's basically, you get the typical Russia stuff, 5 Cossacks, the Strelets, and then you go kill him. It's just really easy to win this matchup.
Okay, looks like this outpost, this shrine, sorry, is needing to go down pretty quick. Does he have a villager in queue? Let's take a look. Does not have a villager in queue, so this needs to go up very quickly, and building it whilst the wolf was stunned, which I find really interesting. And then, oh, he just shot it just before the reset as well. Divine Strike coming in. So, actually, all of those things timed out really well, though he did have a little bit of idle time on his town center, but he's not going to be too upset about that, because he did just pick up 90 food.
Feels pretty good to see that I'm not the only one who gets housed as Japan.
Yeah, but either way, 90 food really nice. He's not going to be too much of a problem there. I love how this explorer is just like walking around with this sheep, and the sheep's going to stay here, and he's just like, he's taking his sheep for a walk. He's just going to chill out here and fight the explorer, and then take his sheep home.
Yeah. I love that sheep.
Yeah, but
So
anyway.
badass.
Let's talk about the matchup. So what you're saying is that you anticipate Russia to go up pretty quick, and we can see that, 800 food, and I imagine he will put the age up, has gone in queue now. He's waiting for these last 3 villagers to train, and now the age up is going to begin, and that he's now going to transition all of his villagers to wood, collect enough wood for, of course, a blockhouse, and these 3 forward villagers coming out. He's going to build the blockhouse nice and early, have it up before he even hits the colonial age, and then able to start training units, and of course use the blockhouse as a forward spawn point for his 5 Cossack shipment, which is just ridiculously and incredibly efficient, very, very strong. And of course, the other 2, of course, 4 Cossacks and 13 Strelic shipments will follow after. You think he's just going to do that and be very aggressive against Japan, and Japan's going to perhaps struggle. Their Achilles heel certainly is early pressure.
Yeah, I think like if you play Japan standard, you're really going to die.
Yeah.
It's a simple, yeah. I think you either need to wall up everything and spam those all over the place, or you have to maybe go for something like 3 fishing boats instead of heavily kami.
Yeah, something like fishing boats on this map are possible because you do have a water spawn point, and it's effectively like a 3 villager shipment right there. It doesn't have it in his deck. Maybe he regrets that. I'm not sure if he ever had it in his deck, and maybe he's annoyed by that. I'm not sure. But here's the blockhouse. You're not wrong. Does do a poof to get away there, and he's going to do a bit of hurting by the looks of it before continuing to build. It should get that up in time before he hits up to the next stage. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. 3 villagers, or fishing boats more to the point, would certainly give you that better early game potential to survive against the Russian onslaught, though Heavenly Kami does scale better.
He's gonna go for the wall style instead.
Yeah, the problem is like getting to the late game for Heavenly Kami to work. But as you're mentioning, 2 walls, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls. These pillars worth 5 wood, as well as these long parts as well, coming down. So he is aware that he does need to do something to kind of defend himself. But I'm going to ask you, Jerem, do you know how good Goodspeed is with Japan? I'm not sure if it's a civ he necessarily plays a huge amount, or how experienced he is with it. Do you think he is capable? Do you think he's had enough experience to give the Russian onslaught a go at defending against it?
I think so, but I don't know how comfortable he is with the wall of everything style.
Yeah.
I think Goodspeed used to play so much that he can basically play every civ.
Yeah, he played an enormous amount back in the day. But
There's
also
the 5
experience,
Cossacks.
yeah, 5 Cossacks, really, really strong.
He is too late walling. Yeah, if you want to hold this, you have to have a full wall at this point.
Yeah, okay.
Which he doesn't. I think that's gonna be really rough.
Yeah, well...
Like, he doesn't even have a barracks. How is a barracks gonna go up?
Good question, but 5 Cossacks coming in, very efficient shipment, but against Japan, cavalry raiding is perhaps not as good because they can get into the town. Is he going to kill the village? No, he does not manage to pick that up. Actually, it's very hard to have a successful raid versus Japan because they don't have hunts or anything like that, but and their villages are always next to the town center. But having said that, people who are good at herding... okay. The enlist irregulars shipment, which is effectively colonial militia, coming out, and perhaps going to be using that to hold the pressure. So, for those that don't know, his town center is now 50% more efficient in terms of the damage it does, and also it gives him city defenses, which is effectively a colonial militia.
It one-shots Strelets now, and Russian musketeers too.
Alright, that's pretty good then. So,
yeah, I usually don't like that shipment, but against Russia I can see it work because it one-shot stuff.
Yeah, well, particularly, like, the math just checks out really nicely against Russian musks. Like, if that's one-shotting a musk, you're not losing any efficiency. You can maintain 10 villages maximum efficiency in the town center. But yeah, 600 wood does come out, and by the looks of that, going to be using it to... probably get his Raxes up at this point, right? And maybe some
Yeah.
shrines as well, which is what I
I
was
really
just looking
like
for.
Knuschelbär is doing the right thing. Like he recognizes it's colonial militia. He's gonna back off, kill the shrines, hunt down the explorers, I think. And I'd like to see him get the trading post line.
Yeah. So you think like he's noticed the fact that colonial militias has arrived. This town center is really, really good against his units, and you know, as a result of the Japanese player sending that, his economy isn't going to be as strong because he's not going to be investing in, you know, perhaps another shipment like that 600 wood or 4 villages. You know, he's not going to have that now. They're all going to come out much later, and as a result of that, economy's going to be worse, and instead just going to sit back, destroy shrines, and that's exactly what he's doing, getting the trading post line, as you mentioned, Stagecoach. So how effective is this against Japan? I think Russia's got is playing on point right here.
I think if you clean up the map of shrines, at this point Russia can outskill Japan. You have the with the Boyar shipment, Cossacks as Reds are good enough to contest Yumi archers.
Yeah.
And I think with the Stagecoach, he will have more eco, barely.
Yeah. So is he going to create? If we take a look at his shipments now, instead of, I mean, you mentioned that he was going to go for 4 Cossacks and 13 Strelets followed. I think actually I said that, but that was based on what you said. But as he's noticed all of this, he's adapted, sending 700 wood instead, and building the stable here. So just going to be getting the market upgrades, making sure everything's hunky-dory with his economy, and then building up a mass and going in later to contest the Yumis, as you were saying.
I suppose that's his game plan, and you see he's doing pretty great, reflected in the scores. Russia's score is usually actually a bit lower than it should be.
Yeah.
And he's still ahead. I think he's basically ahead in economy, albeit it's pretty close actually.
Yeah, well, he's what are these Stagecoach yet? So these are what, 4 each?
Yeah, so it's even basically. But he's gonna be killing all the shrines, and
yeah, and as the game goes on, you know, he's going to be able to kill more and more shrines. Also, Russian villagers just train faster.
yeah, that's actually like Russia can mess up villages pretty well.
Yeah, how much faster do they train? They're obviously 10% cheaper because,
I think it's also 10% faster, but sometimes it feels like it's even faster.
yeah, when that over
But
the course of the
that might
game
just
is...
be my feeling. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's shipping
Boyars.
Boyars now.
Yeah, Boyars is also effectively veterancy upgrade as well on these Strelae, and maybe this is go time then for him, pulling off the Musketeers here away from this final shrine and going to be bringing them into the fight. By the looks of it, they're not going to finish off the shrines; they're going to go straight to the fighting. He's using the Boyars as a power spike here to, you know, because of how good that shipment actually is.
I actually think Goodspeed is relatively fine at this point.
Yeah.
I think he has a decent amount of shrines. And,
Is that-
Knuschelbär hasn't really been able to clear them up effectively.
Well, there feels like 2 options at this point, which is continue to siege the shrines, which he's not really doing anymore. He's pulled those Musketeers off. So there's either that, just continue to kill them, then clean up these ones, and then all of the others on the map down here, and then push in later. But what he did was send Boyars and then try and push in now, and I think actually he's regretting that decision because, you know, he's moved all his units from the shrines, and as you just said, Goodspeed looks like he's, you know, not doing too bad. Military unit pop is fine, economy is fine.
It's like still pretty close. I wouldn't want to say like Knuschelbär is dying or has lost, but
Yeah, and
Japan
this...
is in a great position, all things considered.
Ooh, Japan is coming out. I'm not sure how I
don't
feel
like
about
this
this.
Pooch.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get slaughtered.
maybe he wants to stay at home. This match means so much. This is your tournament life on the line here for both players, and it comes down to this final match. And
I
that
think
does...
Russia smashed this fight. Look at
He's
all
got
those
so
Cossacks.
many Cossacks. There's an enormous number there, and not really any anti-cavalry, just a
There's
couple of
nearly enough
Ashigarus here.
Ashigarus.
Yeah, the Cossacks just gonna, like, destroy this front line of red
He-
units,
he
and
needs
once
to
that's
bring
gone,
up
once
some
that's
Cossacks
melted away,
around.
the Cossacks gonna come straight into combat with the Yumi and, of course, Besterios, which they're now going to do. But he is gonna get through the gate, so actually he's not too bad.
But it's not a full wall in.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
gonna go around the side with the
he has
Strelay,
enough
right?
of the Russia stuff too. But we have to remember there's the potential for a huge Minuteman pop.
That's
Because
true.
of the enlisted regulars. You can pop like 32 stuff or something.
Yeah, you know, set
Or
ordinary
Minutemen, something
sentries,
like that.
ordinary irregulars, and of course the extra ones
Yeah.
too. Here we go. This is a fight. Then the cavalry are gonna have to jam themselves pretty hard through that little cherry orchard opening there. But because he has a wall, he can just go in and out. I really like that.
Yeah.
Those Cav getting caught though, that's not what he wants.
These Trulets are so expendable and efficient.
Yeah, they are. But the
He's
longer he
gonna
fights
flank
next to
the-
this town center, though, the better. Given the irregular, he does have the town center card. But I think it might be too late. You know, those Naggies got caught and died, and here he has to pop his Minutemen. This is it.
Yeah, he flanked the Yumi. I think this is gonna be GG.
I think so as well. I think there comes the irregulars
There's
a little bit
Minutemen
late.
pop.
Yeah, but it's not going to be enough because most of the units have died. Trying to get through the gate there, but so many Strelets here that it's not going to matter too much. And it does look like, yeah, whoops, GG coming out. Knuschelbär does progress through to the round of 16, and Goodspeed is eliminated. I'm actually surprised by this result.
I thought Knuschelbär would do better even. He's like playing so much lately.
Yeah, and perhaps an upcoming somebody to keep an eye on then. So whoever,
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder what the brackets are like. I wonder who his next opponent will be, and I think GL against Irish. Oh baby, that is going to be interesting. Irish Faithful, one of the favorites to win this, as well as H2O, and I think Irish Faithful, one of the only people H2O is actually perhaps afraid of. Maybe I don't know. Certainly a very very good player. And Knuschelbär is going to have to go up against him. Perhaps that will be the end of his tournament. But I think it's going to be a very good match. This guy clearly very skilled, able to take out Goodspeed, and is yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like, Irish Faithful didn't do as great against Soldier as people expected.
Yeah.
People were saying trio Irish easy, but it was a 3-2, so maybe Irish Faithful is not in the best shape.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think Knuschelbär
I mean,
can win
Soldier
it.
is good as well, I would say, so I'm not surprised by that outcome. But, yeah, Knuschelbär, do you think maybe he could... it's interesting, though, and I'm definitely looking forward to his next match. I'm going to keep an eye on this, and it's now a name I'm going to remember for next time, whereas, you know, I didn't really know about him until now. But everybody... Thank you very much for tuning in today. I do see that we have 300 viewers. That really warms my heart. This tournament has been brought to you by ESO-community.net. We host the largest Age of Empires 3 forum on the internet, so do sign up to that if you want to keep up to date with the scene. All donations received on this stream, well, thank you. That's very generous if any of you have done that. Many of you have, so thank you. They all go to funding future prizes for these tournaments. So basically, the more donations we get, the more tournaments we can do. We're just able to do them more soon, and that's basically it. Sometimes we have to skip a season if we don't have the funding for it. But yes, my name has been Interjection, casting alongside...
With me, Jerome.
with me, Jerome.
Yeah, the
I love
great Jerome. I
Okay.
always just say Jerome when I'm speaking English.
When you're speaking to some, yeah, either to an English
Yeah.
guy or an English. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Jerome, the Brave,
Yeah.
aka N30 Jerome from the media team. Thank you for tuning in today. We do have more games coming up, but that is it from me until later on. I'll put the schedule up in just a moment. Thanks for tuning in, and the next game will be starting probably quite shortly. Don't go anywhere.